Fun fact, Google says that you can use baking powder. It's just not as strong as baking soda. I'm trying to slowly transition towards more low-tox products. So my goal for today is to work on organizing this space right here. I was gonna say now I'm gonna try to get this organized real quick, but I have a feeling the 3-year-old's not gonna let me. So today, as part of my January reset, I'm going to be cleaning the air fryer. As we all know, the air fryer gets a lot of use and takes a lot of abuse, and I feel like it doesn't get cleaned often enough. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Hopefully you can see it. The color is kind of dark here, but I'm keeping things very simple and very minimal. I'm not going to try to declutter and deep clean my whole kitchen today. I'm trying to avoid burnout here, so I'm just going to focus on one task, and this is a task all in itself because if you know, you know. So I thought I had baking soda, but I only have baking powder. And fun fact, Google says that you can use baking powder. It's just not as strong as baking soda. It doesn't have the same like scrubbing capabilities, but you can use baking powder. So I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna mix it with water. And then I also have my cleaning solution, which this is part Mrs. Meyer's. It's not completely non-tox, but it is lower tox, so I'm trying to slowly transition towards more low tox products. So it's partially this with water and then also some vinegar mixed in. So that's what this solution is. I'm going to use a combination of this with the baking powder solution, and hopefully that does the job. Oh, this like doubled. I don't know how that happened. Okay. I'm going to try to navigate around the coils as much as possible. I don't really want to get any of this mixture on there, but I know it's inevitable. I'm gonna try to use this very old-fashioned steel wool pad. So this is what it's looking like right now. The steel wood pad actually really did the job, but I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm gonna try to clean up this and the little trays and things that it came with. Okay, now this has been sitting a little bit. I'm just going to hope for the best. I feel like whenever you make these pastes like this, it's hard to tell like if it worked or if it helped or not, because it's all covered in goo and then you don't know until you go to actually clean it off. But anyway, I'll be happy with whatever the result ends up being because I did it. I took the time and energy to actually sit here and clean it, and that is a huge accomplishment. So we're taking wins any way that we can. Okay, now I'm gonna let this run and dry out. Here's what we got. She's not perfect by any means, but she's cleaner than she was before. So we're gonna work with what we got. And I'm pretty happy with the results. So my goal for today is to work on organizing this space right here and this space over here. Ignore the mess. Right now, we spend the vast majority of the time in the living room, and Sayla plays here the most. So I want to try to organize some of her toys that I keep down here, because I have toys that I keep here and here, and then also toys upstairs in her bedroom. So I really want to get this organized. My little printer cabinet here that I have next to my little office nook. I have some of her toys here in these little bins, and I do like to try to follow like the Montessori style where you have like one activity in one bin, which is kind of what we have going on here, which is like this one little train activity we have going on there. This area just tends to collect a lot of clutter because all of her toys just land onto my old coffee table, which I started using as her craft table, but I'm thinking that I might actually get rid of that. I have her art easel over here mixed in with extra blankets and things, and then some more of her toys over here. So the plan is to get this organized. I bought a new toy storage for her. So I knew it was time for a reset because the toys were starting to just feel very overwhelming. They were scattered everywhere and there wasn't really a proper system of organization. And I do feel like visual clutter has a big effect on me and probably her too. I feel like when the space is organized and she can go to each activity and she has something specific to focus on, she's much calmer and I'm much calmer, and I'm able to focus on other things. I do feel like there's a lot of challenges when designing with smaller spaces because you don't have a lot of floor space to work with. However, in this situation, we use my living room so much, so it only makes sense for her to have access to her items here in the living room instead of her constantly being upstairs by herself or me just sitting in her room with her. So we kind of do a combination of the two. So sometimes she's upstairs playing in her room by herself, and then sometimes she's down here with me and I can help instruct her on different activities and things like that. So I do like to have a combination of the two. So I wanted to make sure that my living room was set up properly to be able to support that. And on top of that, I hate clutter and I like to have spaces as free flowing as possible and have enough space to move around and use the space without just having things everywhere. So now I have to be very strategic about the furniture that I buy and where I place that furniture. In the past, I have had the idea of having this very Pinterest perfect home. However, now that I have a child, I kind of have to accommodate both things, but I do think there's room to join the two and have a connection between the two. You can have a beautiful aesthetic home while still incorporating different things into your home, and I think the pieces that you choose and the furniture that you choose is a big component in that. And I think now more than ever there are kids furniture pieces that can blend more seamlessly with different design styles. And for a shared space like the living room, I think it's important to be able to blend things that are kid friendly along with things that I also like and enjoy. So I was really happy with the piece that I found because I felt like it could meet my needs and then also my daughter's needs as well. Truly, one piece of furniture really can have a big impact on your space and in your daily routines. Having an item that will create a lot of ease in my daily routines will really help me stay aligned in my goals this season. So it's actually the next morning. I am gonna try to work on this real quick before I go to work today. Yesterday kind of got away from me. I built the toy shelf before work and then I had to start work. And then from there my day is pretty much structured because I have to keep my daughter on a certain schedule in order for me to be able to get work done. And then after work, I'm just tired. So now I'm gonna try to oh no, she's coming. I was gonna say now I'm gonna try to get this organized real quick, but I have a feeling the 3-year-old's not gonna let me. Good morning, 3-year-old. So I'm not sure that I like it there with the printer cabinet. The other option would be to move the printer cabinet to this little section here, but even if I do move it there, it would still be too wide for that space. The other option is to move it here and then move the easel over. So let's see if that fits. So I do like the way that that works here. Originally I was gonna put like a bookshelf here for myself, but I felt like having toys stored here would be a lot more useful as opposed to a bookshelf where I don't have a lot of books, but I did want to have like little decor pieces, but I have another idea for that. So I like having this here because when she does her artwork, I like to hang it up. So I think that this would be like a perfect area for her to be able to hang up like her artwork here and then also have her toys down below.